but it's some people's favorite time of year, baseball wise. A lot of people really only care about hot stove season, and I don't blame them. Hot stove season's electric. Um, I couldn't
Is it
care
hot stove season or is it Scott Boras season? Or like we just gonna merge the two?
every season is Scott Boras season. That guy
Man.
doesn't take a second off. If he's not negotiating deals, he's writing just the worst puns you've ever heard. But they work. He's effective. He's efficient. He gets
To
the
say
job
the
done.
fucking least.
I mean, if you want to start with Boris, he said something I enjoyed today. He said, like, sounds like the Red Sox are going to start spending, which he would know as much as anyone. So that's,
Scott Boras says everybody gonna spend every year. He
I
said
don't know.
everybody
He,
gonna spend every year.
he made it sound like the Cubs were trying to lowball Bellinger. Um, he makes it seem, who else was he saying? I pulled up the list, or let me pull up the list of Scott Boras free agent clients.
Oh, this is
Well,
like
like
this.
free
Is like
agent,
one of them. I know, but
current
this is
free
one of
agent.
them gifs like where it's just the entire list rolls out. Like, yeah,
I saw Cespedes Family Barbecue tweeted this earlier, and I was like, that's helpful. Um, so it's Cody Bellinger, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Matt Chapman, JD Martinez, Hyunjin Ryu, Jung-Hoo Lee, Reese Hoskins, Sean Manea, and Nick Martinez. Really falls off a cliff there with those last two. No offense to those gentlemen. Um, but I don't know that that's where all of his efforts will be during this opening um, of free agency, and that's where I wanted to start. I love MLB free agency because there's no limit to what you can do. Teams will put self-imposed limits on themselves, but there's no actual limits.
right.
What it's missing though is like the NBA and NFL both have A tampering, but B it hits midnight, 6 p.m., wherever they move it to. There are deals immediately. Baseball doesn't have that. You get a trade during like game 4 of the World Series, and you're like, can teams make moves? Is that a thing? Can we do that?
Or it'll be like World Series Game 4 at the at 10:35 Eastern time, and then there's a deal by 10:42, and it's like I didn't know you could do deals this quickly. Like
No.
I didn't know you can announce them this quickly. I thought you had to at least pretend and announce them the next week.
There's no start. Like, it's just even like I was looking at a passing tweet, and under it, people are just like, when does free agency start? It started. Like,
There's no start. Like, it just is. Like,
there's
you
the
don't no start. It
GM
just is.
There's the GM meetings, which just wrapped up. I know your GM had a lot to say. And
Buddy.
then the winter meetings are in December. But, like, for a Red Sox fan, the most important thing that's ever happened in free agency this century was trading for Kurt Schilling over, like, Thanksgiving dinner. So that's obviously not now and also not in December. So these, and then there was that era 2016, 17, 18, where guys weren't signing until like the third week of February, which sucked as both for
Mm-hmm.
them and as a fan who was just like,
Yeah.
are these guys retiring? Like, what's happening
No
here?
action. Like, is the league folding? Like, there's no action. Nobody signing anywhere. Like, what's going on here?
And uh, last offseason, I can't remember who said it last year. Maybe it was Rosenthal. When there's a lockout or just a new CBA agreed upon, that offseason you see big money fly because teams know there are going to be games. There's going to be revenue coming in unless you're the Padres. You will have more money to spend. And so I think people like with basketball, you see the Jalen Brown contract because that's the start of a new cycle. And it's so jarring. And then Devin Vassell gets like 150 or whatever he got. And it's just like, oh,
Right.
that's the new money. Now I can
Right.
recalibrate. Baseball doesn't really have that. Like Mike Trout signed his deal, what, like 7 years ago now? And that still
Yeah.
hasn't
Right.
really been
Right.
topped. It will be in a few weeks. But uh, baseball money goes up and down. And it has nothing like this was one of the most watched seasons of all time. The stands were packed. especially what most watched all time for this century. Stands were packed across the country. Teams made money outside of Shohei. I don't, and probably Yamamoto. I don't know who's going over 200. Is that fair to say?
Listen, if Cody Bellinger go over 200, it better not be the Yankees paying him that, or I'm gonna get on this show and I'm gonna be sad. No, nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. At least I don't. I can't speak for anybody else. I don't need that shit.
I guess why? Like if it were for like 5 years, yeah, I'd understand that. But if it were like 10 for 300, would you really be like furious?
For Cody
Or excuse
Bellinger,
me, you said 200, yeah, not
uh,
300. Oh yeah, if it were,
10 for 300, I would come on here and my head would explode. 10 for 200. Listen,
he's not
the
signing
thing with
for
the
200.
thing with Cody Bellinger is it would be a cool signing. Like fine, I feel like it's like Sideshow Bob stepping on a rake. Like that's it. Just feels it's gonna end that way. Can I sit here and then tell you not to sign him? Like you don't have any good hitters, bro. He was a good hitter last year. He won an MVP. I can't sit here and be like, you can't sign that guy. Improve your lineup. Okay, this is what we're doing there. Improve. No, not that. Like, I can't be that guy. Now, I could sit here and be indifferent. And that's what a Cody Bellinger signing would be to me. It would be like, I'm not going to celebrate that shit. I'm not going to talk shit. Just going to be like, all right, take it as it is and just hope that he's more last year's guy than the 2 years before that.
I I think it's unfair to boil him down to a 2 year player. Like you said, the MVP didn't come in any of those seasons. He was a rookie of the year as well. He plays. I can't remember the last center field first baseman in
Yeah,
baseball
yeah,
history.
yeah, legit.
he's
Yeah, no
like
joke.
he's a crazy athlete. He's one of those guys that used to drive me crazy with Paul Pierce. I know Tiger Woods did it. I don't know that anyone's ever compared Cody Bellinger, Paul Pierce, and Tiger Woods, but here we go.
I don't think so, bro.
He changes his swing every offseason. And to me, that's insane. Like to rebuild your swing from scratch. I know Tiger used to do that. His putting stroke, his drive, all that. Pierce would come back every season with a brand new free throw routine. And it's like, buddy, you shoot 85%. What do you you're fine. Like you're what are
You're
we
not gonna stop
fixing
till you
here?
shoot 95.
He never did that. He was just
I
constantly an
know.
85.
I don't know. I guess that's why he didn't stop.
Yeah, like I understand you when you get to this level, you're always trying to push to be the greatest. I get that. You don't win MVPs by accident. We'll talk a little bit more about Cody Bellinger because he's someone I wanted last offseason. I want him this offseason. I'm going to continue to want Cody Bellinger as long as he's available and in his 20s. Um, but before we get into the free agents we do want our teams to sign, what did you hear from your beloved Yankees at these GM meetings? Because I assume they said, sane things. Well, tell me they at least said sane things, yes?
Listen, no. To answer your question, no. It, it was a lot of like Brian Cashman had a public meltdown. Let's just call it what it is. Get it right out there. Just put it to the middle of the table. He had a full on public meltdown. I'm not saying this lightly, because I am just 1,000% like, yo, coach speak, GM speak doesn't fucking matter.
Mm.
Actions say what they say, and end results, wins or losses, say what the fuck they say. So I don't care. I'm begging Yankee fans to stop listening to Aaron Boone talk, stop listening to Brian Cashman talk. In general, yesterday was a little bit different. A little bit different. Not even like the defiance, like, oh, well we're fucking good. Like, I don't care that he said that. What is he supposed to say? We suck? Like, yes, that's the reality. He ain't gonna come out and say it. Nobody gonna come out and say they suck. Nobody. That's just not how it works.
I will.
Cool. Good for you. Sure. Nobody gonna come out and say, hey man, I suck. Like nobody, no baseball executive, no whatever. They're not gonna come out and do that. Now, the problem with these quotes from yesterday, it's like, all right, you have, and mind you, how for full disclosure for those who don't know, Hal and Brian Cashman both spoke yesterday, which is the daily double of fuckery. But they both spoke. Okay. In the morning, Hal Steinbrenner said Aaron Boone believes bunting is becoming a bigger part of the game.
That's
So
right.
the expectation is that will increase. And then furthermore, I didn't fucking log the other tweet, but the other tweet was basically like, we think that we should be teaching our guys to bunt down in the lower level.
You
Now,
got a bunt.
first of all, What about Major League Baseball the last, I don't know, 15 years says anything about bunting increasing? Number one. Number two, who was the face of the Major League Baseball postseason?
Uh, uh,
Adolis Garcia. I will save you the thinking. Adolis
oh,
Garcia was the face of the fucking postseason.
I was gonna say Seager, but yeah, he's up there
Adolis
too.
Garcia, he did it in more exciting fashion, but we can make him co-faces, whatever. He was one of them, right? Okay. When was the last time he bunted?
Oh, when was his last at bat? I mean, that's all that guy does. You just
Winter ball, probably in
drag
like
him
8
down to
years ago.
Dolus is
He
what they
bunted.
call him.
Listen, I just if they don't act on that shit and they're not going out there bunting and shit and they go out there and they spend a lot of money in free agency, listen, we won't care about most of this. Now, everything that they've said and their actions for now 2.5 years match, and that is absolutely terrifying. So yeah, like the bunting shit is like, I don't. What have y'all watched? But again, this is the same team who they signed DJ LeMayu to a 6 year deal. They traded for Andrew Benintendi. They let IKF play shortstop every single day for a year. For what reason? I don't fucking know, but they did it. They brought in Anthony Rizzo. That's more reasonable because he can do a little bit of both until he got fucking concussed and tried to play through said concussion, right? So it's just their actions. They have successfully at least de-emphasized power. Like they thought they were one dimensional. They had to be more balanced. So they did all of these things, and then their offense went in the fucking tank. Which then leads me to Aaron Judge's commentary, which was or alleged commentary, because Brian Cashman
No, he said it.
quoted him.
He said it.
Alleged, because it didn't come directly from his mouth. Oh, we de-emphasize RBI and listen, if I was to sit here and talk about batting average, we could legitimately talk until tomorrow. So I'm going to try and keep that short. Batting average matters to whoever. I'm not here to tell nobody that it doesn't matter or it shouldn't matter to you. That's what you think. That's what you think. Good for you. We're gonna disagree. That's fine. We can disagree like adults. Now, the thing with Andrew, I just cited a whole bunch of people that they got that it wasn't what DJ LeMayu. What he's some extreme power hitter. Like he's a 290 career hitter, whatever it was. Benintendi's a 270 career hitter. Rizzo's a 265 career hitter, and that has taken a hit the last like 3 years. So I'm just not understanding how they de-emphasize that. Like you are there every day. You play with these dudes. We have Google. The internet fucking exists. You could look up their fucking stats, bro. How is it that that is the takeaway? And then on top of it, it's like, my brother, the Yankees have been getting curb stomped by the Astros for 6 years in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What is his batting average against the Astros? Since we want to talk about batting average, let's talk about it. What is his batting average against them in the playoffs?
His specifically or the whole team?
Him,
Oh, real low.
200, 200. So it's just, can I don't want to be the shut up and dribble guy, but bro, shut up and hit. Sincerely, because
That's what he's
everything
saying. He's saying there are not enough hits, not enough singles on this team. How many of his home runs, and I'm not even trying to troll, were solo shots? Like
this
what
year,
percentage would
oh, a
you
lot of
say?
them,
Yeah,
a
like
lot
that.
of them. I mean,
I'm
he
sure
didn't
he's
even.
saying
I don't even think he cracked 90 RBI.
probably not. Like I mean, he missed
Like,
time too,
listen,
obviously.
RBI is a team stat, but I can't argue that part of the equation. But yeah, the problem is nobody gets on base. But they tried to fix that. Excuse me, by his logic. They got the batting average guys, and they're like, bro, you hit 200 against a team that the Yankees have not beaten in 7 years. Focus on that. Focus on your part of the equation. Hit 275 and then come back and talk to us about fucking batting average. Go ahead, please. But then there was the commentary about. Let me pull this up. Oh yeah, Brian Cashman says the Yankees have the smallest analytics department in the AL East. He says
Right.
people accusing them of being run analytically are just throwing bullshit.
What do you have to say to that? You must feel pretty
What
fucking
did
stupid.
you gain from telling us this? First of all, this is what we Lindsay Adler, and I mentioned it on this show. Lindsay Adler wrote that the fans have influence over management. How can you read that quote and not conclude that she is correct? How? Like he came, you came out and you admitted, mind you, Texas is an analytically inclined organization.
Big time.
Yes, they went out and they spent like fucking drunken sailors the last 2 years, but the point remains. Arizona got like a $10 payroll. The Astros analytically inclined. Tampa Bay analytically inclined. They win 90 games every year, and their payroll is $15 million. So all these teams have lapped you, despite the fact that you have like what at least triple the money to spend, and you're you're telling us that you have the smallest analytics department. And first of all, it's technically not true because they have a whole lot of consultants that technically don't have titles, but they're analytics people. So it's not even true, number one. But let's say it was true. Why do you want us to know this? You're actively like, yo, we are trying to pander to the lowest common denominator fan that we have. The fucking WFAN callers. That's who they're trying to pander to right now. Oh, we don't do analytics. We don't do analytics stuff. What do you mean? Don't accuse us of this. That's who you want to fucking pander to?
It sounds like, if I heard you right, Lindsay Adler says management listens to the fans, and then they come out and they say this dumb shit. Do you think the Yankees just need smarter fans? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
If you guys weren't just so
I would.
fucking stupid, maybe
Yes.
the team would be better.
Yes. Yes. Listen, in a perfect world, I prefer they stop listening to the fucking fans. Period. But this is the same fan base who a 34-year-old who had 2 good years in what 10. They wanted to give him a blank check, and the house like, oh, we can't let this guy go. No way. We were gonna imagine the PR head if we let him go to the Blue Jays. That fucking worked. Good job. That worked well. Yeah, like either our fans just got to be smarter. Which listen, I ain't holding my breath on that happening. No disrespect.
Same.
I'm not holding my breath on that happening. Or you just gotta stop listening to the fans. I'm not holding my breath on that either. Because Hal Steinbrenner cares about what the fans think, which
Oh
is insane
man.
because he won't open his wallet. It's
Well,
like
that's the thing.
he won't open his wallet.
That's
Yeah.
where the fans, I do believe, had influence when they booed the shit out of him a month before Judge was a free agent. I don't know that he matches Judge if he wasn't just so
Oh, he matches
freshly booed.
Judge. Oh, he matches Judge. He was never letting Judge leave.
We'll see. I
He
mean, we
was
won't see.
never letting Judge leave. And mind you, he didn't even make the most expensive offer to Judge. He did. The Padres did. They didn't even make the because the Padres last year were just
They had no, yeah,
it was just whatever. Like, please, somebody take our money, please. We're begging you, please take our money. And then Bogarts did. So
he sure did. Yeah, the biggest winner of last offseason remains Xander Bogaerts. The
oh, one hundred
Padres
percent.
approached last offseason like if for Christmas or my birthday or something, if I got like a crisp 100 and a birthday card somewhere, which was rare, but when it did happen, it was like, oh, I've got unlimited money now. So then I would run out and I'd be like, oh, what do you mean I've got nothing left? That's the Padres now when they're taking these PPP loans. Is me 72 hours after receiving a crisp undie.
Dude, I don't understand. Like, and also that leads me to believe that Hal must have been talking that shit to Judge. Like, yo, you could do whatever you want, you could say whatever you want. We gonna listen because Judge has been. I've never seen somebody run their mouth through back channels more than Aaron Judge. It's everybody else quoting Aaron Judge, and he not talking. And it's like,
his name
and
is
every quote's
Mac
stupider tthan the
Jones.
last one. You said what else?
His name is Mac Jones. That's who talks
Ooh,
back there. Like Judge is at least
good
good. As
call.
much as I fucking can't stand the guy, he's good.
Right. Yeah.
But part of the other quote too, I know we're doing a lot of Yankees shitting on it. I hate to be the one to get us out of that, but Judge, I believe, also said like, yeah, we've got these numbers, but we don't know how to read them as an organization, which is a big part of analytics. Like if you have all the numbers in the world, it'd be like giving me the nuclear codes. Like I don't know what to do with those fucking things. I don't know. Like what's Buddy standing in front of the all the wires and the fucking warehouse, and he's just like, man, I lied. I shouldn't have lied on that. I don't know what the fuck. That's the Yankees with analytics. It sounds like they've got the guys, they've got the numbers. They've no idea. They're reading them and they're going, you know what we need to do? Drag bunt.
Oh my god. Bro, do you understand how annoying that quote is coming directly after? Yeah, we hire people to do an audit. Then either they didn't start the audit yet, or they started it, and you're still telling us that you want to fucking bunt more. What are we doing?
What was wild about the audit stuff, more has come out about that. The Red Sox are doing it too. It's not just the Yankees doing this independent audit, which I can understand. I think the Yankees talking about it in August or whenever the fuck they did was
Sure
more
did.
peculiar than than other
Yeah,
teams just
very
doing it,
peculiar.
not saying anything.
Very peculiar. Like they couldn't wait to tell us this. But like August, like legitimately when this show started, the
Yeah,
Yankees were telling us about that might have been the first fucking show we were talking about the audit.
it was pretty immediate. But you brought up the Padres. The Padres are still, again, it's hard to call it news, but it's still rumored that the Padres are trying to unload Xander's contract. And now they're saying they would give up Tatis. And this has been my hope the whole time. They would give up Xander and Tatis in hopes to keep Soto. And to me, this reads like none of those three guys are going to be on the team in 12 months from now. Because if you trade both of those guys just to save the money, you're a worse team. Machado's already hurt to start the year on top of everything. So it's like you're just going to have, obviously, they're deeper than this, but you're just going to have Soto. And if he gets off to another slow start like he did last year, then what?
And why would you want to resign?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
unless they just smoke the competition with regards to dollars and cents, and he might, like, they might. But if it's even, like, why would he? Like, you just traded all of his help. Like, why would you?
I still refuse to rule out. I understand the stories and what they've been, and we've joked about it too. I won't rule out the Padres for Shohei. From everything people like to say, well, it makes more sense too if they're going to trade Tatis and Xander. Why
Mm-hmm.
open up? What's that? 600? I understand Tatis has played 2 years on that deal already. Xander's played one, but it's north of 500. It's basically Shohei's contract. So if you're like, hey, we're going to get Shohei, it's a desirable location. It's the West Coast still. It's an
Right.
easier division. Or realistically, I still view it as an easier division. Neither of those divisions are anything I like to write home about, despite the fact that they both just had representatives in the World Series.
Yeah. Well,
I still like them, Texas. I won't rule out either of them with Shohei. I did both of them make sense to me. And it makes more sense to me if the Padres are like, you know what? These two are out. So if you can go get Xander and Tatis simultaneously, I don't even know if you have to do much more the rest of the offseason.
oh, nobody's traded for both of them at the same time.
Depends what like you're not taking on both their contract unless they're giving up
Well,
salary
yeah, sure,
too.
but like you would still have to take on a good enough bit of them. But, I mean, then again, the Padres don't really have much leverage. So
I
there's
would
that.
take on Tatis's entire deal, no problem. Like that's not a bad deal.
I think Tatis has more inherent risk than
Well,
we like to let
sure.
on,
He likes to do
but
fucking backflips on motorcycles to like
yeah,
light hoops on
yeah,
fire.
and I
Like,
think they're
yeah,
gonna look at that like, do I really? Just baseball wise, it's a no fucking brainer, like
yeah,
absolutely, because he's making like 25 million a year,
it's
like it's a
super cheap.
no brainer. But yo, you might get that dude. You could wake up and read any headline about Tatis when he leaves home. Any headline, it could be he was fighting elephants. It could be fucking
All of it.
anything, and you'd be like, sounds about right.
I like that though. I like a little risk with with my super. I mean, again, we're the team that gave Manny Ramirez the richest contract in team history. I believe it may have been the biggest in baseball history when he signed it for a free agent.
It might have been.
Like it was.
It was
I
like
think
eight for 160 or something like
it
that,
was
right?
it was a lot. And then A
Yeah,
Rod shattered it like a year later, whenever he
instantly.
signed it. Like it
Yeah.
was like crazy. He shattered it by a preposterous amount. But regardless, and that was Manny Ramirez, who is still doing insane things. Like he's still playing professional baseball wherever they'll have him. Where like Brazil, he'll go to Japan, he'll go to North Korea. Like he'll go to either Korea. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. It's like, you paying me to play baseball? Cool, I'm there. I would. I mean, Tatis just took home Gold Glove first year playing right field after being like just an objectively bad shortstop to be able to go to the outfield,
Yes.
come back from steroid suspension, come back from injury, and have that kind of season. I have no qualms about bringing in Fernando Tatis.
Listen, the Yankees need outfielders. If for some reason they were just like, hey man, we don't want this guy anymore. Like we will take on some of his money. What?
Would they? He wouldn't be. He'd have to cut his dreads, wouldn't he?
Yes.
That's going to be one of those like Chris Paul to the Lakers. Like the league can't.
He steps in.
You can't like You can't. I'm sorry. You can't.
Listen, he could cut them dreads, man. He's fine.
He would like remember when CC got skinny and then was bad? That'd be
Why
Tatis.
why are we bringing up old shit?
That'd be Tatis if you cut his dread. He'd be terrible.
We don't know that.
We know that. We know
He's
that for a
gifted.
fact.
We
No.
don't know.
Can he even wear
He's
eye
gifted.
black on that fucking team? He looks like a
Yes.
vaudeville actor with how much eye black he puts on his entire face. You can't. You can't take one of the more fun players in baseball like in my lifetime and put him on the Yank. That's not how this works. You know that. You know you have an unfun team. Don't even lie.
Why would I lie? There's nothing to lie about.
Right. So you can't take
Nothing to
the
lie about.
most fun player in the league and put him there.
Of course we can. We got to change the culture. Of course we can.
I could see him being the one to be like, I'm not fucking doing it. Like I could see him being the one to be
That's
like,
what I'm
no.
saying.
Now what?
And then they get in line, and then it's like, all right, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna not play me? Like I know Hal's not going for that shit. So make a choice. Hal definitely not gonna pay me not to play. So make a choice.
Yeah, no, that would be disgusting. I would.
I need it.
I like like I wouldn't be worried about the talent because you would take all of his talent the second you made him cut his hair and shave like that. I would be like, all right, well, you got a bad right fielder, cool. You can't, but like taking that guy out of baseball. I'm not even saying he has to go to Boston. Like I'd rather him stay in San Diego, wherever anywhere else. Like I don't, I don't. You just can't put him there and make him lose
It's,
everything.
jokes aside, it's not a good fit. Like personality wise and everything else, it's not, like baseball wise, it makes perfect sense. Like everything else is just a no. Like
No,
the
that's a
Yankees
time
don't
bomb.
do outside of A-Rod, the Yankees don't do eccentric or otherwise personality. They just fucking don't.
Even A-Rod was more eccentric in like the all-time great way where it was like clear he didn't know how to be a real human being and still doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Tatis again, like thinks he's evil Knievel. Like I don't. He
yeah,
thinks
he did.
he's like this, but like we talk about Jokic not thinking baseball is a job or basketball is a job. That's Tatis. He's just like, yeah, that pays the bills. What I really do
Dude,
is go to like Bad Bunny concerts and do
dude.
donuts in the parking lot. Like
Man's a fucking stunt double in his spare time. It's like Fernando, we play baseball for a lot of fucking money, dude. Like,
he's like,
why
yeah,
are
I
you
got mine already.
like why right? Like, why are you a stunt double in somebody's movie in your spare time, dude? Why?
Again, if the Padres are willing to eat those last, I'm. It's not my money. I'd pay Xander that today. I don't. I still don't care. If they're willing to eat those last 4 or 5 years of his deal, I would take on Tatis's entire deal. Like it's if he were a free agent right now, coming off the season he was just coming off of, he would be. I mean, it's the Shohei offseason. He'd be the head and shoulders number 2 free agent available,
Yeah.
and he'd get Seager money, probably. You know what I mean? He'd get at least 3. He wouldn't. We're talking about other guys not hitting 2. Tatis, if he hit free agency right now, age, athleticism, power, where he plays, is at least
I
300.
mean, he has like a 900 career OPS, man, and that's with last year being down for him.
Right,
And the
right.
last year was the first, like, he didn't really play baseball much the year before, so it's like, all right, you
No,
can kind of give it a pass. He's an incredible talent.
yeah, that. I mean, that's. We'll talk about trades later. They're a little harder to talk about since it's only speculation. We have, and
Right.
I have a GM who's never GM'd before, so I, who knows what he's cooking. He said something today that pissed me the fuck off. First
We all
strike
got
from Craig
criticism
Breslow.
here.
He said they're still stretching out Garrett Whitlock and Tanner Houck to be starters, and that may change, and it fucking better. Like, if you really want to have a good team, those 2 guys are elite coming out of the bullpen. If you have them, either one of them, truthfully, as even a number 5 starter, I think this offseason is like it can't go higher than a B plus. I like you get Shohei, you get Nola, you get Yamamoto. I'm still giving you an A minus because one of those guys both of those guys either need to be trade pieces, and it's more Houck than Whitlock, or just bullpen guys. If you have those guys in your bullpen with Chris Martin and Kenley Jansen, it doesn't really matter what else you do. Like that is an elite bullpen from day one. If these guys, like we've just seen it, these aren't 22-year-olds. These are guys in their mid 20s or later. We know what they are. They're elite bullpen arms. They've shown plenty of flashes as starters. Houck was doing really well last year, but even still, when he was at the peak of his powers, he's a 2 times through the order guy. Like that's a spot start guy. That's not a guy you build your rotation around, unless you're going to a 6-man rotation, which I'm also against. So that's where it's like these guys. If you want Houck to be your long reliever, cool. Like he can clearly do that. He can get through the order twice, no problem. Whitlock, there are times he looks like the best pitcher in the league when he's a starter. There are times it's just like, oh man, like his body doesn't seem to be able to handle the toll of starting pitching. When he first started, it was 2 years ago now, he was elite for 2 months. And then he was trying to cover first, fucked up his hip. He hasn't been the same guy since. These are bullpen arms. They're elite bullpen arms. I know their agents want them to be starters. They make more money that way. Whitlock already signed his deal. It's heavily incentive based. I get that. Baseball wise, it doesn't make much sense to me to continue to. And I was pro Whitlock starting up until last year. When it didn't work again last year, it's like, all right, I've seen this before. His name's Daniel Bard. It took him a decade to even get back into baseball. I don't even say that to be mean. It's just true. Like
Right.
we've broken guys before, and right now they're both trending that way. For baseball, for me, for them, they can be elite relievers. They can still make a lot of money doing that.
I think they should be the 4 and 5 stars. Personally, just my unbiased opinion. I think they should be the 4 or 5. They have electric stuff.
They do.
Tanner is great, and he's that discount to Chris Sale when you look at the throw motion and all of that. They should definitely keep them aboard as their 4 and 5 starter, and then sign bullpen arms is what they should do.
I'm always pro signing bullpen arms. They definitely need more, anyways. I know they've been talking to Ottavino again, which I'm fine with because last time we had Ottavino, he was our only option back there. Now we actually have other options back there. So if he's just another guy you can toss out there, cool. When you build the whole bullpen out of Adam Ottavino, you're asking a lot. Um, they out of the GM meetings, it came out that we've already talked to Jordan Montgomery's agents. Love to hear that. Need him. He has no.
You mean you already talked to Scott Boras?
Yes, this was
Oh, okay,
before. This was before Boras even got there.
got it.
But yeah, so I already read the Boras list. Passon tweeted out the full list of players to receive a qualifying offer. When I was a kid, I remember it being like everyone received the qualifying offer. Now that's not the case.
No, no, I remember that being the case when I was a kid too. Like it felt like there was a 75 dudes as the qualifying offer every year, and I
Yeah,
was
it was
like, you might
automatic.
get 15. Like you might, and I think there's like 20 this year.
Oh no. The full list of players to receive a qualifying offer. Shohei Ohtani makes sense. Aaron Nola makes sense. Blake Snell makes sense, even though they probably couldn't even pay that if he were to sign it today. Cody Bellinger, Josh Hader, Matt Chapman, Sonny Gray. That's the list.
That's it. Okay, so 7, 6, whatever,
Eight,
however many
it's
amount the
seven or
group
eight.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot less than I remember when I was growing up. And back in my day, a lot of people received qualifying offers. What the fuck is this?
The qualifying offer is for this season is 1 year, $2.325 million contract.
You
Players
mean
have
23?
20.3.
Oh, okay. You said 2.3. I was like, what the
Oh,
fuck happened?
my apologies. Players,
What the fuck happened to the
if it
business
were
of baseball?
2.3, everyone would sign it, or everyone would offer it.
Yeah,
Players
right.
have until 4 p.m. November 14th, so end of next week, to accept it. If they reject it, the teams that sign the player give up a draft pick, which depends on their payroll from the previous season. So this was probably Heim's biggest contribution moving forward short term was getting the team under the luxury tax last year because now you still get to keep your first round pick if you were to go sign one of these guys. I cannot remember, and I could look it up. I won't. I cannot remember what happens if you sign multiple of these guys. I'm sure it's not great. I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
sure it's
sure
not.
it's a
It's
problem.
not ideal. Yeah, let's just go with that one.
I'm sure it's a
Let's go with that one.
problem.
It's not ideal.
But this is if there were to be an offseason for the Red Sox to sign one of these guys, and I'm looking at really two of these guys. This is it. Like the farm system is great in a great place right now. That doesn't mean ignore it. That doesn't mean abandon it. You're not going to lose your first, which is going to be who knows? There's a lottery now. It could be the first overall pick. We don't fucking know. Um, so there's more talent coming through the draft. Um, I know there's international money that gets taken. I think it's like $500,000 gets taken out of the pool. I also know you can trade for international pool money. So that like there's a lot of things people will say, oh,
I'm
you
I'm
can't.
always for trading for international pool money. Trade for international pool money, please. Do it more often. I don't care if it's $8. Just trade for international pool money, please.
If it's like, oh, I'll give you this like 26-year-old in the single A still, it's like, give me 250 for international pool money. That's like 14, 17-year-old Venezuelans I can sign with that. Like, get the fuck out of here. One day, also, I'd like to go into the blatant racism that is how the MLB deals with South America, Central America versus Japan. It's a little different. It's little dude doesn't make a lot of sense
Smidgen,
when you
just a smidgen.
when you
Yeah,
really sit
a
there
tad.
and you're like, all right, this guy gets to sign outright, and this other guy gets 12 cents when he's 11 years old. It's listen, something's not adding up here.
It's not mathing, bro. Math is
Eh,
not mathing. It's not. And
uh,
they never answer for it. They just keep doing it. It's the crazy
oh.
part.
Well, that's the chip the players always like to use, and it makes it more disgusting as I'm saying it. I remember during these last negotiations, the players were like, "Listen, you don't deal with our terms. We're going to make you have to draft internationally. It will just be part of the regular draft." The owners were like, "Fuck no, we've got too good of a system going on. We've got this rape and pillage system we're running with, and we're not giving that up anytime
Like
soon."
we signed a dude for 25K. You want us to stop doing that? No, sir. Nope.
It's there's go at some point in our lifetime there will be a documentary about what happens even when they get to like the complexes in like Florida and the Dominican. I can't imagine how many guys are sleeping in floors in those like they're not getting like put up, you know what I mean? They're not
No.
living the high life immediately. It's like, listen,
No.
you start hitting 450 against these other 18-year-olds, we'll move you to the States. Before that, you go sell plantains, Pedro. Go, you
You
see it.
gotta show something to me, dude. You gotta show something to me. Like, no, you hit 478 in 3 months. Like we can talk. Like we can talk. Like before then, like that's what. Like no, I gotta see something first, baby. Oh, you're Juan Soto. Okay, we'll find a place for you, buddy.
Did you
Yeah,
have you ever read how the Nationals signed Juan Soto?
I feel like I have, but I forgot.
The Nationals were watching him. He hadn't taken batting practice yet. They were talking to him in like the on deck circle, wherever they were in the Dominican. And they saw, I want to say it was the Yankees scout. I genuinely think it was the Yankees scout started walking over and they literally physically grabbed him and said, "You're coming with us." Like you will not talk to this guy. And they were signing. They're like, what do you want? We'll give it to you today. Like, no problem. So that's how the National, they physically moved him away from another team's scouts because they're like, if you talk to him, we know we are not getting you. So we need you to come this way, pal. Like, it's dirty game going
Nasty
on.
system.
Dirty.
Nasty system. Disgusting system.
And that doesn't even include Cuba and how guys have to take fucking a team flight to, that's also, if this were like the 90s you could make a comedy about it, you couldn't do it anymore. But like there are so many times it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna go play Aruba in the Netherlands, and then the plan lanes and they just fucking book it. Like these guys, they just get off the plane and start running. Like calling agents, they're like, I'm free, I can sign now. It's horrifying. And in Japan, you'll see Yamamoto. There'll be a nice press conference. There'll be a leaked bid. The team that's selling him will get a shit ton of money for his services. Let me pull that up because that's in the article.
Yeah, it's a big ass posting fee.
The Athletic put out their top 40 players, which I don't care about the ranking at all. But Tim Britton is typically fucking nails with his projections for contracts, so that's what I was looking at. Whichever team signs Yamamoto will be subjected to a posting fee, paying 20% of the first $25 million, 17.5% of the next $25 million, and 15% of anything over $50 million. So a shit ton will be going to just the Oryx Buffaloes on behalf of signing Yoshinobu Yamamoto when he was like 17 years old. Now they get to make like I don't know what
They
is
get to make bank forever,
yeah
basically.
like why could a team theoretically sign to a 1 year $1 million deal and they just get fucked?
Theoretically, I mean, yeah, right.
I think there'd be a war. I think there'd be another war.
Whoever the GM was that signed him, oh, he wouldn't last long, buddy. They sending the goons to his house. The goons. Yeah, they're gonna make him disappear. Like, oh, you signed him for what? Okay, bet. All right.
Britain's got him getting 7,203 with his best fits being, and these are alphabetical. I saw a lot of people running with this, like, oh, Boston's the best fit. We're just real high up in the alphabet. Um, Boston, both New York teams, San Francisco. I do not want to rant about how I feel about the Giants. They're not signing him. We can move on.
Yeah, I watched you last off season talk about the Giants. Yeah,
I did
and
this
I
today
watched them fail.
when we were tearing Shohei landing spots. Everyone's like, "Oh, the Giants are a lock for what?"
I don't know how many people don't want to play there, dude. Like, I don't know how many times we have to play this same song back. Like, people don't want to play there. If they did, they would sign there, bro. It's not complicated because we've had this discussion about the Giants so often. People don't play there. Like,
No,
they just don't. The Giants typically the long term deals. The Giants typically sign a guy they drafted.
right?
They came up like I guess they realized they could either tolerate San Francisco or they like it, and then they signed to big deals, and that's that.
Who's a Lancecum? Who's the biggest deal they've given out to a free agent? Post Bonds, obviously, like this millennium.
The biggest deal we give out to I'd have to look it up. I don't
Did
know
they get
because
Kent? How'd they get
I feel
Kent?
like that's probably a lower number than you realize too.
Yeah, it is. It's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy. It's probably a lower number than you realize. It might not be $100 million. Now that we're talking about
I
this,
don't think it is.
their
My
biggest
guess,
free agent deal since Bonds might not be $100 million.
no. I mean, it's was Bonds even 100? Probably wasn't.
No, but Bonds definitely wasn't.
Right. So that's where it's like everything I heard about Heim being like this big coward who can't close deals, and the Giants literally finally agreed to deal with somebody, and they backed out with Correa. Like, preposterous. I do think those are the top three teams, though Boston and both New York teams.
Bring him home, man. They went to go.
Nope,
Cashman then went to go see a start. Bring him home. Bring him
he's
to
home
bring him to
now.
New York,
In-
to the Bronx. Excuse me. Bring him to specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I can't call it. I believe the Mets. I think Cespedes Family Barbecue broke it down last offseason. I think the Mets have signed the most players directly out of Japan, uh, out of any team. I think Seattle's two, um, and then Boston, New York, and I think the Cubs are in that next tier in terms of getting guys out of there. I don't know. I don't remember Tanaka's bidding. Was he even posted or was he just a free agent?
Pretty sure he was posted. I don't recall. I know what he got. I don't recall
Right, I
what it
remember
was.
that too.
I
But
remember what he got, but I don't remember
Daisuke
if he
was
was posted.
posted, and that was a fucking stressful week because you won the right to bid. And I don't know if this part's changed because it's been a while since a Daisuke type pitcher's come along. Like, well, I guess Tanaka was the last one, but since Tanaka,
Right.
um, you won the right to bid, and then you had to work out the contract after that. And if I remember correctly, it came down to the wire, and it was like real, like it was like, hey, you don't get your money back if you don't get the contract negotiated, and that's why I think they've since changed it to the posting fee just comes out as a percentage, not an upfront cost.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out.
If I had to predict today, I think he's a Met. If I had to predict,
The
I think
reason
he's
I
a Met.
don't think he's going to the Mets is Epler seemed to be the guy who had the connect over there. He
For
famously
sure.
brought Shohei to the Angels. He got, um, why am I blank? Senga last year. Um, so I don't know. And now he's like banned from baseball permanently. So I don't know what is going on there. The Mets obviously still have the money. They've got the new vice president or president of baseball operations who is outright refusing to hire a GM, which I respect the shit out of. He's just like, I'm all set. I can do it.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it. He was just doing it in Milwaukee, so I know he can do it. I still think the Mets are going to get Burns. That just makes the most sense to me. They got all these extra prospects by selling. He obviously has a relationship with Corbin Burns. He wasn't the one who pissed him off last offseason with the nickel and diming because he stepped away from the team last offseason. So I think he has an inside track there with Corbin Burns.
I think that makes sense.
So
Yeah, the
that's why
prospects are good.
I don't think they're going to get both. Is where I'm because Burns you're not going to get him and not extend him. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I also think that Chicago is a threat to every free agent. Every big like they're not going to sign five of them, obviously, but
No, they'll tell you they
they're gonna
won't.
they'll sign two. They might sign two. So like I think the Cubs should just be listed amongst all the top free agents. They're a threat for all of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. What I would love to know right now is who teams have as their top target, not necessarily who they think is the best free agent. Any team that has anyone number one other than Shohei, I'll fire them all. Like dumb.
Please
But you
get them
need
out there.
a
Please.
lot of these teams know like we're not going to be anywhere near that number. Like maybe we'll take a meeting, we'll see what happens. But who teams like is Nola someone's top target? Are they going to go all in? Because you have to make someone a priority. That was Heim's big thing last offseason too. Xander's number one priority, and then didn't get him. But it's like you do have to
Poor Seaman.
prioritize, and so it's like, does a team look at like let me I mean it's not the deepest class of all time, but it's like if you make Matt Chapman your priority, I feel like that makes you more likely to get him because some guys do have to sit and wait for those other deals to get done. So if you're Matt Chapman, some team comes along, they're like, "Hey, you're our number one priority. Here's what do they have him projected at? 595 feels low.
595 feels light.
Yeah. So if someone comes in like here's 5110, JD Martinez money in 2018. Here's 5110, and he like his agent knows the market. His agent knows these projections. You're willing to get him just because you made him a priority. So that's the part of this process that fascinates me. What's the roadmap teams take? Because even if you remember going all the way back to the 03-04 offseason, the Yankees publicly were like, we're fucking all set with this Rodriguez character. And then things change. Like guys get
Right.
hurt, trades fall apart. All of a sudden now, yeah, we're super interested. So just the general roadmap teams are hopefully already have planned out by now. Very fascinating to me.
Aaron Boone tearing his ACL legitimately changed baseball history.
Mm-hmm.
Tearing his ACL playing fucking pickup basketball changed the course of Major League Baseball history.
Oh yeah, still does, still impacts it. The Yankees are going to bunt every time up next year because of that. Well,
Yeah, I cannot. What happened to the team I used to love, bro? What happened? What
Aaron
happened?
Boone, Aaron Boone,
What happened, bro?
Aaron Boone,
Look,
Aaron Boone hit that home run off Tim Wakefield. Theo Epstein said it's time to get fucking busy. He did exactly that. And that was that. Like Aaron Boone is what happened to the Yankees.
like why are we trying to turn the Bronx Bombers into the Bronx Bunters? Why? Like why? We're in 2023, my boy. It's not 1994 anymore. Why are we doing this? Why are y'all trying to hurt me? I've done nothing to deserve this.
It could work. You
Work
haven't
how?
seen it not work.
Yes, the fuck I have. I've
You've
watched the
never
Royals
seen a
play my
team.
whole life. What you
You've never
mean?
seen a team bunt every time up.
Oh, well, not every time up.
Well,
Sorry.
that's what
No,
Boone's
not.
planning.
Listen. If I ever see Aaron Judge bunt, that will be my last day as a fan. One bunt. I don't even care if he misses the ball. I don't care if he gets hit in the face while he's trying to. I don't care. He pulls his hands up to bunt. I'm done. What the fuck is there to root for at this point? You got Aaron Judge big ass bunting? Are you mad? Giancarlo Stanton bunting? Leave it alone.
Maybe not the worst for him.
Yeah, I mean it would take him an hour to get to first, but yeah. Giancarlo's the slowest dude I've ever seen, bro. It is so fucking funny to me. He's so fucking slow.
I used to like back when Ortiz used to get shifted heavy. I was like, dude, just bunt it down third base. Like, and he did it a couple of times, but it was literally free base if he wanted to work on that. And I understand why he didn't. It would have been stupid to, but if he wanted to work on it, he could have had like a thousand on base percentage if he wanted to.
Listen, there are times where it makes sense to bunt, legitimately. Like
Definitely.
they're so rare, but there's time where it makes it. You down 3-1 in the ninth. You down 3-1 in the ninth. They're gonna give you the entire third baseline. Take it. Take it. Like you and there's nobody on base. Take that shit. Like
Right.
you, no matter how far you hit the ball, the game cannot be tied, bro.
Correct.
Can't be. So take the fucking base.
Who is your number if you're as a Yankee fan, who is your number one target as of today, November 8th? Who would you be
Yamamoto, right?
happiest to see the Yankees sign?
Yamamoto, easy. I'm not a big fan of the top of the class. I'm just
Hate Shohei Otani. Wow, that's quite a
well,
stance.
excuse me. The realistic options in the top of the class. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Big Shohei Otani fan. Even though I once read a tweet like, if the Yankees were to get him, where would they play him? Which is, buddy, that's one of the most insane questions I've ever heard asked in any format about anything in my entire life. Where would you play him, bro? Tell Giancarlo to go fuck himself. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Love Giancarlo. Tell him to go kick rocks. I'm sure he'd understand.
Yeah,
Shohei Otani.
you'd hope. Yeah, you'd
Shohei
certainly.
Otani, bro. Like, Stan has a TV. Like, I'm sure he's seen the shit before.
Did they finally get there?
Get where?
New York. You,
What? They what get to New York?
his furniture.
Yeah,
Do you remember
yeah.
that story?
Yes, I do. Yes,
For people
and
who
yeah,
don't
they
remember
got
it,
there. Yes.
when Stanton got traded to the Yankees, he got off to a brutal start and blamed his furniture not arriving from Miami yet as to why he wasn't settled in and producing. And that should have been the biggest red flag. Like, this might not work out as we had hoped.
I mean, maybe that's why he's so fucking injury prone.
It's possible. He's been sleeping on the floor these,
We even
these
see
last
him sleep
five
on the
years.
fucking floor for like 3 months. That's probably why. That's probably why it's all starting to make sense now.
I love the Yankees. They're
But yeah,
so
give
funny.
me Yamamoto. That would be my first option here for obvious reasons. I don't think I need to go through a lot of them. Great pitcher, high upside. He's what, 27, 26 at his
25.
age? 25. He's 25 years old. Yeah. Give me. I'm not a big fan of the other realistic options at the top of the free agent class. Like, I'm just not really a fan of Bellinger. Not going to bitch if they sign him. Not a huge fan. Snell. That's one of those things where I know the output should be pretty good. He's going to regress. Like, there's no way he's putting up a 2.3 ERA again. Like, no chance. But like, if he regresses to a 3.2 or 3.4, like, he's fucking fine. Now it's just watching him pitch would raise my blood pressure so high I don't need it. Like, I just good pitcher, fine. It would be one of those I can't watch the dude pitch. Like, just I watched Jordan Montgomery pitch for like 4 years. It's similar, except Blake Snell's way better stuff, so it's just way more inexplicable that he decides to just nibble, nibble, nibble the way he does.
I don't know if the gap is that wide anymore. 2 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, Blake Snell's twice the pitcher of Montgomery. Montgomery's figured so he was never a bad pitcher. He's always been
On I'm not just the pitchers themselves. Like, the gap is not wide.
right.
Stuff wise, it's wide, and like, that's no
Sure.
disrespect to Jordan
Sure.
Montgomery at all. Like, Blake Snell put up a 2.2 ERA while leading the league in walks. Do you understand how fucking difficult that is? Seriously, you gotta have great stuff to do that shit. That hasn't been done since like 1914 or whatever the fuck the ridiculous year was. It was
Right.
he led the league in ERA and walks. That hasn't been done in hundreds of years. Like, you gotta have special stuff to pull that kind of shit off.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd talk about Daisuke again, but that's basically how he pitched through '07. Like he was like going to load the bases and then strike three guys
Right.
out. Like it's insane way to pitch, but
It like like you don't feel like the pressure. I know like these are baseball players. They get here. They're professional athletes. Obviously, they face a lot of pressure on the way. But it's like, bro, are you gonna live like this every game? Seriously.
I'm very in on Yamamoto too. I'm trying to talk about more than one guy though. So I mean, my top target, like the Red Sox, do need a bat. Is like badly. And so I am going to say Bellinger. It is a former MVP who is still in his 20s. I understand he got hurt. He was unbelievable last year, like truly unbelievable.
He was.
He was unbelievable 3 years ago, and the prior, all the years before that. He had a bad year after he got hurt. That happened. I like that. I don't know when people got started getting so scared about that. This isn't my money. He's getting projected per Britain 6 years, $162 million. That is insanely cheap for a player of his caliber. He is a top of the order bat. He plays elite defense in center field, which the Red Sox, I will remind everyone, need two center fielders. Right now, we maybe have one. What I like about Bellinger for the Red Sox is it gives you flexibility in the sense that you don't have to trade Cedar Rafaela if you don't want to. You can make your lineup deeper. You can live with his bat in the 9 hole, 8 hole, wherever the fuck, if you make your lineup deep. Right now, I see a lot of people I respect talking about the Red Sox being like, Trevor Story could be your 3 hitter next year. Don't even field a team. Don't even try. Like, that's no, like, where I like Trevor Story is if he's your 6 hitter, if he's your 7 hitter.
No
That's
faith in
terrifying.
Trevor.
Huh?
No faith in Trevor.
As your number 3 guy? No, none, zero.
Why? Did you see his Colorado tape?
I, do you want, like, LeMahieu's tape was good too? How do you feel about him?
No, it wasn't actually. If we're gonna keep it a beat, no, it wasn't.
Did he lead the league in average one year out there?
How many years did he play?
I don't know.
It was
A
like
lot of
8.
guys, a lot of guys play 20 years, never lead the league in average. Fact.
That that's very Aaron Judge like
A
of you
fact.
to cite, but okay.
You
You
were
want
asking how many years? Like he's fucking Luis Ariz. He needs to lead it every year. Like no, he did it.
he did, and his tape otherwise stunk. Trevor
No,
Story was just better. I don't know what we're talking about here. He was better.
and I don't want either of those guys hitting number 3 in 2024. That's insane. Um, push everyone down a slot. Literally everyone. Slide them on down. That to me is what should be a priority. Um, and so I'll go into my number 2. The Red Sox desperately need pitching, no doubt. They also need a righty. I'm not a guy who cares about lineup balance that much. You did build a 37.5 foot fucking wall, 200 feet in left field. Not every lefty knows how to turn them inside out. Get you a righty, get you one of the best righty bats who's being severely undervalued, and that's Rhys Hoskins. Dave Dombrowski today said Bryce Harper is our first baseman. To nobody. He said this for no reason. He said, we're not fucking signing that guy. No, they did. They Dylan Brooksed him. They said under no
Bro, I saw
circumstances.
that right before we got on, and I was so confused. I'm like, who the fuck asked, bro? Like, who asked you to tell us about that? No, we don't want that dude back. We good. Like, who asked you this?
Britain's got Hoskins as a 1 year, $16.5 million contract. That's
That's a no brainer.
insane
That's
to
a no
me.
brainer. That's a no brainer.
Here's where it's
So
insane to
easy.
me. They have Hoskins ranked 13th for all free agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you scroll down to 20, you get to Teoscar Hernandez. You want to guess what his projected contract is? And I like Teoscar, but guess what his
Three
projected
for
contract?
48.
4 for 80.
All right.
Now, to be fair, and this I'm taking this stat directly from the Athletic. Teoscar Hernandez has an MLB leading 626 slugging percentage versus lefties since 2020, hitting 312 with 32 homers and 414 at bats. Basically, a full regular season worth of production. During that time, there's only 2 other players who have a slugging percentage north of 600 against lefties. They are guys you assume they are. They're Paul Goldschmidt and they're Aaron Judge. So that's the kind of bat Teoscar has against lefties. The reason you don't consider Teoscar Hernandez in the same category as Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt is because not everyone throws with their left hand. Against righties, it's will.
Yeah.
That's a guy who gets 4 for 80. And again, Britain's pretty money with these predictions. So that genuinely wouldn't shock me. Hoskins getting 1 for 16 and a half. He didn't die. He tore his ACL. He was going to play in the World Series if the Phillies made it there. He's clearly fine. Like 1 year prove it deal. The guys who get 1 year prove it deals are like Bellinger last year, where you truly don't know. No one's offering him more than 1 year. If they are offering him more than 1 year, it's for dirt cheap. Pay him fair market. Pay him like he didn't get hurt. This is a guy who's been a rock his whole career before he tore his ACL in spring training. And if you want to make him a DH, which I fucking do, what's the risk? Give him 480. Give him the Schwarber deal you didn't give Kyle Schwarber. That's such an automatic decision in my mind. It shouldn't even be a discussion.
I think that one for six, I think is easy. Also, like I think this is kind of about the position he plays because I don't think Major League Baseball like values first baseman at a level they would value other positions. So, I mean, there's a reason. Look at the Pete Alonso trade rumors. If you don't believe me, like it's
Sure.
like yeah. So they
But
just
Alonso also wants like $200 million. You know what I mean? Like this is a guy I've never heard Rhys Hoskins speak out loud. I have no idea what he
I have
wants.
no idea what he is. The only thing I know about Rhys Hoskins is that he damn near spiked his bat through the Earth's crust that one time. And I know he's good at baseball, obviously, but like, yo, outside of the baseball, like that's the only thing I know about Rhys Hoskins. He damn near spiked his bat through the ground. Like how the ground survived that, I have no fucking idea. He spiked that shit so hard.
I, for the life of me, can't like. I was saying this on Twitter earlier today. A lot of teams like to use DH as like this day off position. So many teams don't understand DH as a position. Like it's not easy to be a DH. I don't know that Rhys Hoskins is built to be a DH. Like it's difficult. It may take him
It's a
some time
hard
to get
job.
used to, huh?
It's a hard job. It's a harder job than people like to give it credit for being.
It like you can't like when I assumed Hanley Ramirez would be a perfect DH when the Red Sox put him there for a season. Hanley got so in his own head when he had no one to talk to all game. It was the same thing as when he was playing left field. He had no one to talk to. That's a guy who needs a release. He needs to get some jokes off. When you put him at first, was it Gold Glove caliber first base? No, it wasn't. He had his best offensive season in Boston,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even that terrible at first base. He made one error, I remember, that cost him the game. It was a late game in Anaheim, and it was a throw to home that he just airmailed. Oh well, the rest of the season he was fucking fine. When he was
Right.
DH, he was terrible because he couldn't keep his head in the game. That's where it's like, yeah, David Ortiz consistently being ready for those at bats, unbelievable. JD Martinez, professional hitter, consistently ready for at bats. The Boston Red Sox haven't done dick in my lifetime without an elite DH. To try and use that as like this flexible spot to give a guy a fake day off can't happen. It just cannot happen. Sign Rhys Hoskins, give him 4 for 80, problem solved. And if he wants to play first some days and Casas, you want to give a true day off to, have someone else DH, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Put him at DH. Your problem solved.
That's a really good case for them signing him. And as somebody who realizes that Rhys Hoskins is the exact kind of player that annoys the Yankees, I would prefer they don't sign him.
It's too like the whole division's built for him to tee off. Like
Yeah, it is.
he would be an
Yeah.
even if you don't want to commit the full for it. He would. I assume he would take a 3+1 if they're assuming he'll get 1 for 16 and a half. That's less than the qualifying.
Listen, why would his ACL even be used? Well, he's what, like 32?
31.
He plays first, bro. Like, why
Right.
would his ACL be like? It's not like he's playing center field, and you have to be like, okay, I need to see it first. Like, I'm not really trying to take that chance. He plays fucking first. Who cares?
It was a freak accident, and it was in the field. If I remember, I know it was spring
It
training.
was. It was.
Yeah,
It was against the Yankees.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
it
course
was.
it was. So he's
Yeah.
got bad. He already hates this team. I'm liking this guy more than I might move him up to first in my order.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it was against the Yankees. Man. It was.
You put Reese in between Devers and Casas. Good luck. Good fucking luck. Like I'm all in.
I don't know
I
what that's
couldn't be
about.
more all in on this, especially since Dombrowski was like, all set. We're all set.
Listen, my number two guy is Shota. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Shut up.
Imanaga. So the Yankees need arms. That's been established. I've said it every single episode of this fucking program. So they need arms. He had a 29% K rate last year in the NPB, 2.66 ERA, 24 starts, 10.6 K per nine, 1.4 walks per nine. That sounds like, and I don't think you're gonna have to make some prohibitive financial commitment to him either. Like I think he should come at a reasonable enough price, and he could be a mid rotation on maybe a little bit more. Like if it really clicks for him, and like how three of the people that I put on the five that you asked to put together are pitchers, and I think he's probably the best one listed because I didn't want to list the obvious. Like, yeah, everybody know we want Yamamoto. Like, all right,
Right.
cool. So I I personally think that the Yankees need to sign at least two arms. It doesn't necessarily have to be the top
Sure.
of the free agent class, but they need to sign at least two arms, and this is a good arm. They should sign him.
So Britain's got him at 4 for 52, which you factor in the posting fees. That's like 4 for 65, something like
I
that,
would
70.
they need to sign him today, right now, today. If that's what it's going to take right now, that's perfect.
What should continue to piss fans of 29 teams off is the steal the Mets got Senga
Yeah.
for last year. Like that's
Hmm.
only going, and that's not a knock on him or Yamamoto. Obviously, I think both of them can pitch. Disgusting how cheap
Yes.
there was. No one else. Some people were like, oh, he might get hurt, this and that. Maybe he fucking does. I'm so tired of teams being that scared, that risk averse. Scared money does not make money. Go sign talent, get the
Amen.
talent. Like, yeah, guys are going to get hurt. You sign these guys for like 5 years. They're going to play those 5 seasons. If he gets hurt one of the years, he's good the other four. That's worth the investment. That's always driven me nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, I forget what the exact contract was, but I know it didn't crack $100 million, right? I don't even think it got close. It
No,
was
it
like
gets
85,
cheaper every
right? I
time.
think it was
No,
five for 85, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was around there.
I honestly think it's in the 70s.
Okay, yeah, it might be. I remember 5 for 85, but
70,
yeah,
5 for 70.
75. Yeah, and it's just, I just, and the thing is, like, yes, he has warts or had warts or however we want to put that, and I understand that. But like 5 for 75 in a league that values arms the way Major League Baseball
Crazy.
seems to be like you're not accounting for any of the upside. And how did we land here? Like, was he injury prone? I don't know. Like, how did we land here?
No, I think one team took his medicals or whatever medicals they could, and they saw something, and a lot of that feels like bullshit to me. Like it could have easily been Epler trying to scare other teams off from betting or from bidding. Allegedly, I'm not saying like I know anything. Like who fucking knows? But
Throwing that allegedly, baby. Yeah,
there's no like with a guy like that too. There's no qualifying offer. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's stopping you from just spending money. Those
right.
should be the easiest guys organizationally to go target. It's like, all right, this only costs us money. We don't have to trade for them. We don't have
And
to.
it's not a shit ton of money. Like it's
No,
not. It's not like you can if he ends up being ass, you can maneuver around that contract pretty easily if you have the desire to.
it's 15 mil a year. Like that's nothing. That's literally nothing. That was so infuriating. My number three is Montgomery, and I kind of think he's just coming here. I think he's coming here. I think Breslow and him will get
I
along.
don't need that in my life, man. I really don't. But yeah,
He's, I mean, he posted a 4.3 F4 last year for two teams. He was like the only guy in St. Louis who could throw forward consistently. Even in 21, he posted a 3.2. Like, even somehow he's the only pitcher or player who played for the Yankees in my lifetime who's underrated by Yankee fans. Like, and I'm not saying they hate him, but like he was just better than he's ever been billed. And I understand he was pitching behind Cole. He was never the like he's not out there yelling. I don't know that he's ever spoken out loud. Like he just kind of goes. He's pitcher JD Drew a little bit.
Yeah, Yankee fans didn't really love him while he was here. That is true. There wasn't a lot of hate either. He just kind of
No,
existed.
no.
Like he just existed, which is rare for somebody that good to just exist like that.
Hmm.
Uh, but I wouldn't like that. That would not be a good fit for me. My personal feelings here. It wouldn't be a good fit. Baseball wise, it makes too much fucking sense. I'd rather it just not happen. Personally,
They got him projected at 5,105. Done. Done.
it's perfectly
21.
reasonable.
Done. Like
All
that.
of these sound light. I mean, that one sounds more closer to reality. Even though, like, I feel like you could argue that's like $15 million short based on what kind of
Sure.
pitcher he is.
Sure.
But like, these all feel light to me.
I mean, if he come out last year, I think he gets conservatively 30 more. Now obviously that's not. He had no control over that.
Right? No, I think you're right. He does. I think he gets about 5 for 130 if he came out last year.
What? Who else? Who else are you looking at?
Um, this Lee Jung Hoo, that's his name, correct? All right, yeah. Basically, the Yankees need outfielders. They cited that they need outfielders. They said it out loud. Now, granted, what the Yankees say and what the Yankees do are often not the same, right? But they said they need two. They said they needed two outfielders, and they would prefer if they're left-handed, which I personally don't give a fuck about. I just want to get people who can hit. I don't care. That one made me roll my eyes too. It's like, can you just get people who can fucking hit? You got two good hitters, dude. I don't give left-handed, right-handed, switch hit. Who cares? Anyways, regardless, like for those who love pure hitters, you're a pure hitter enthusiast. This is the guy for you. Um, he has average-ish pop. Like he could get you 10 to 15 home runs in a year. Could hit the gaps. He could play center field credibly, and he's only 25. So, and that should be a pretty easy sign. I don't know what does Tim have him projected for?
4 for 56.
It's easy. These are all so easy. These are all layups. Like just sign them. Just sign. Use the money, bro.
The
Like
Yankees got to make $56 million, like on merch in a week. You know what I mean? Like
a
that's.
week.
that's I'm
A
saying like
week.
off season. You know what I mean? Like that.
They making that shit in 48 hours. Like the minute he signed, they making that shit back.
Oh,
So
I
just
just meant like a normal week in the past. Like I don't even
oh,
mean
copy.
I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
mean because
right.
of his jerseys. I just mean like run of the mill week.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Which is what makes them annoying. It's
Right.
like you clutching the money like Lil Wayne in that fucking GIF. Why? You don't have to. Y'all making money hand over fucking foot because every Yankee fans and tourists alike show up to spend $28 on chicken buckets or chicken tender buckets and $150 to park. So
I can't. Like where would you even park near Yankee Stadium?
I mean, I'm sure they have a parking lot. I have never seen it, so I can't call it. I've never seen it.
If you're driving the Yankee Stadium, you're either like a billionaire or an idiot. Like there's no in between.
There's no reason to drive the
The
no.
train
I
goes right fucking there. It's right
right
there.
like right there, right there, right. I don't understand it, but people do it.
I
People drive the
understand.
exam. I think it's ridiculous.
I understand driving to city more, but even that, the train goes right fucking there. It's not even a long
Right
walk
there.
off the train. Like it's.
I don't know why people. I don't know why people do it.
So I've listed what, three. The second base is a weird spot for the Red Sox. I'm not going to say why because I say it every fucking show. But even in the
Just you.
short term, the Red Sox went out last year. They acquired multiple middle infielders during the season out of necessity because all of our other middle infielders were dead. Um, but they acquired one specifically who has shown he can hit 20 plus homers in the big leagues. Now he has no positional versatility. He can truly only play second base. But you got him for nothing. He costs nothing. I think he's $7 million next year. I don't understand making it a priority, but it does sound like they're going to make Whit Merrifield a priority, who is fine. Like fine. He's fine. He's completely fine.
Like there's no other word to describe him, bro. He's just fine, bro. He's a fine player. That being a priority is fucking weird, but he's
I
a
think it's a.
fine
I
player.
think it priority might not be the right word. I think they just know it's in the bag, more or less. Like we're going to offer Whit Merrifield money, and he's going to come here. So he may be the first signing. I don't know that that means he was a priority. I think it might be like we know this isn't going to take long. Like why wait? Um, I think it's fine to ask if he's the best option. Of I'll give you three names. He's one of them. Luis Urias would be the second, the guy who's already on the fucking team, and was also just fine. I think he has higher ceiling. And then there's a third guy who had been under contract, coming off not only his worst season, when you factor in everything, maybe the worst season anyone had in professional baseball last year. His name is Tim Anderson, who went from maybe the coolest player in the league to promptly last in that regard as well. The White Sox have been such a goddamn shit show. I don't know if it's his fault. On the same token, it may have all been his fault. I'm
Yeah.
willing to take that risk. I also don't have the intel as to whose fault it was. I'm sure Craig Breslow has a better read on that. Tim Anderson was winning batting titles 2 years ago. He's coming off his worst season. He was supposed to be under contract for what looked like a steal for this year and next year, or this upcoming season and next year for the White Sox. They just said we're all set, which I
Listen,
get.
I have a like the bare minimum of intel, and know people who know people. He was. They weren't big fans of him. Let's just put
Oh.
it that way. The players around him were not big fans of him. I mean, there's a reason that episode with him and Grandal happened.
But even that, like Grandal came out after and said that never happened. So that's where it's just like when a guy's down, people like to throw dirt on people's names, whether or
Yeah,
not
I
it's
didn't
even
see him come
true.
out and say it didn't happen. But you're right because I mean he was not having a good time. Like the
No,
White Sox stunk.
no,
He got knocked out.
cold.
Was not a great like week or two for Tim Anderson with regards to public perception.
No, I mean it was comfortably his worst season. He had a negative zero point 0.5 F war.
Hard to do.
And
That's hard to pull. You rarely see negative numbers too. That's hard to
no
pull
doubt.
off. That's hard to pull off.
2022, he had a 2 war. So he's a year removed from a 2 war season.
I don't
2021,
think that would call. I don't think it would cost anything to find out because like who's gonna pay him? Like what are you paying him at this point? To like he he was a guy whose profile was volatile in the first place because he got
sure.
by a lot on ungodly BABIPs. Well, ungodly, like no plate discipline whatsoever, but just the BABIPs were what they were, and it was over such a long period of time. You just figure, okay, that's just something he does.
Right.
Then it came crashing down, and well, I think there were other factors going on there, real life wise, that did not fucking help. But also, Tim Anderson didn't hit a home run until like September
He
last
had,
year, which is insane.
he had exactly one last year. He had an
Insane.
OPS plus of a crisp 60.
Oof.
Um, he
Oof.
he also did sprain his knee in April. So it's like how much of it was just a snake bitten season? There's a guy who had 400 or excuse me, 304 straight years
Right.
before this year. And in 2021 he had a 4.6 F war. Like this wasn't a guy who was just like okay. Like he was true, like he was an all-star. He was an all-star caliber shortstop. Now was his defense all-star caliber? Not precisely, but this is where you'd be bringing him into play second. Whit Merrifield the last 3 years has a 1.5, 1.5, and a 3 F war. And that was back in 2021. Whit Merrifield's also 35 years old. He's nearly a half decade older than Tim Anderson. If the problem at second base that has persisted for close to a decade now, that's not going to get fixed with 35-year-olds. You're more likely to have a 31-year-old in there. And I think Urias is in his 20s still. That to me makes more sense. Bring in Anderson, give him like a 1+1, something along those lines. That makes more sense to me. It's like his bat bouncing back wouldn't shock me. Now maybe he just sucks as a person. That's also possible. I know he's got like 7 families. He's on big Bartolo Colon hours. Maybe he does suck, like as a human. That's possible.
Bartolo Colon hours is insane. But um, um, you want to talk about city and player being a match? Tim Anderson at Boston feels real. That feel real
He's black.
uncomfortable. That feel real uncomfortable. You said what now?
Because he's black.
Partially, yeah, partially. Like, yeah,
If he produces, he'll be beloved. If he stinks, yeah, it'll be tough. It'll definitely be tough.
yeah, it'll be tougher than usual. Yeah, he better come out smoking. He better come out smoking. You know, April 15th come around, he hitting 100. I don't know how it might get in Boston. I'm just saying.
He'll be hitting like 250. Story will be batting 125. I'll be hearing about how Tim Anderson's ruining the team. They've got one, two, three, four. They've got five people who worked on this collectively. Each person would rank the 40. And so all of them put up different numbers. Keith Law has Tim Anderson not ranked. Britton's got him at 35th. Gleeman, who I don't know who that is, no, I don't mean that disrespectfully, I just don't, had him 19th. Saris had him 34, and Jim Bowden had him not ranked. So quite a range.
Quite a range. We got 19 unranked. Quite a range.
Whit Merrifield, not ranked, not ranked, not ranked, 38th, 20th.
20th. All right.
Yeah, I know it's not the
20th is
strongest free agent class of all time. And Merrifield was an all-star last year. He had a 94 OPS plus. So it's not like we're not talking about a guy who was like
Who did
leaps
he
and
play for last year?
Toronto. They traded for him.
Why the fuck was he an all star then?
Remember they traded for him and he couldn't play for them because he didn't have the
Oh
vat.
yeah, no, I knew that. I just thought he might have been on a different team since then. I knew that happened. I remember that happened. But like, why did he make the All Star game if he played for the fucking Blue Jays? They didn't need a representative.
uh, did they just vote for everyone? Like, did they Kansas City Royals it? Did they just stuff the ballots up there?
He ain't start, so it wasn't
True.
that.
Yeah, also true. I don't know. I couldn't tell
That's
you.
interesting.
If they
Yeah.
like how you talk about if the Yankees sign Cody Bellinger is how I'll react if they sign Whit Merrifield. Just like, okay,
Right. Just okay,
he
man.
plays baseball.
It's like,
There's no
right,
doubt.
what's next? Man, just what's next? Like, I don't care about this sign, dude. What's next?
Who else do you got?
Uh Frankie Montas. All right. I know.
You
The
talk about
last two
not ranked.
years, yeah, yeah, I get it. The last 2 years have been what they were. He's given the Yankees like legitimately 8 starts in 2 calendar years. Like, I understand all of this. With a free agent class like this, to me, there's a select few guys you actually want to sign to long term deals. And everybody else you should be looking at, in the 1 to 2 year intervals. That's where Montas comes in. Listen, I get what 2023 was. I get what the end of 22 was when he got traded here. I get it. If you want to roll your eyes and turn this off, I get that too. If you don't fuck with this idea, I get it. He had a 3.67 ERA and 330 innings in 21 and 22. Just to to cheaply give that guy another shot in a way where you're not hamstringing yourself and you're not being overly reliant on him to do anything, to me is it's a perfect buy low kind of opportunity. Like, he clearly has talent. Like, him just staying healthy is the problem. And if you give him a 1 year $10 million deal, who cares? Like, if he stays healthy, great. If he doesn't, okay, no sweat off my back. It's not my money. So just 1 for 10. Just give him 1 for 10. Let's see what he could do. Sign him and sign Imanaga to 4 for 60, 4 for 55, whatever that would take, and like you have two, at least potentially solid arms at the back end for next season.
Yeah, I mean, he will get a contract. You know what I mean? It's what
Yeah,
the Yankees' problem was is they had him and Severino in the same and Rodon. Like they had the three of them. You can't have three of those guys. You can have maybe two. You can't have three of them. There was another second base option too. I forgot he was even available, but Ahmed Rosario, like that's a guy like that makes more sense to me than Merrifield. You know what I mean? Like a 35-year-old. Just get me someone with some upside there, some upside and a little bit of youth. You know what I mean? Like the Merrifield just feels like it's another 1.5, which is fine. It's better than what we've had there most years. So it's still an upgrade, but give me some upgrade that I can have for multiple years, not just one.
Well, my thing when you comparing the two is not even so much about upside, but there's a clear downside here in that he's 35. Like there's a world where he comes in next year, he forgets how to fucking play baseball. Then what are we? I mean, granted, you're not going to be paying him that much, so it's not going to
No.
cripple you. But I'd rather just take the shot on. I think Rosario's like 27. I'd rather just take the shot on him. Like we kind of know what he is too. Like his range, he's an average hitter, good enough base runner, good defender. Now he probably needs to move off short, and that's where the Red Sox would come in. He could play second.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean he's I'm looking at other second basemen right now. Gio Urshela, a guy I would take. Like if it the Red Sox don't just need bats, they need defense too. And if you put Urshela at second, I have no doubt you're better there. No doubt. So annoying.
I mean, he never played. Did Gio even play second?
With the
Or we just
Angels,
talking
he
about more
played
recent?
second.
Oh, he played second. Oh yeah, of
Not
course he
not
had Gio.
entirely, but he has played second with the Angels. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
I mean, he's such an elite defense. Like I think you could put him in any position.
Well, I mean, the Yankees had him, and they needed IKF because you know how that one goes. Yeah, we don't because the Yankees don't prioritize batting average enough.
No.
Yeah, Anyway, before I raise my blood pressure even more, Seth Lugo is one that I like. He's always been a pretty good pitcher. They transitioned him to the starting lineup, the starting rotation last year. He had a 3.57 ERA, and like I've been saying, basically the whole damn show, you don't have to make a long investment with this dude, like a year, two, maybe. Like I don't think his market is going to call for more than that, if if that even. So he's a good pitcher. Again, you need arms. Shouldn't be overly expensive, and I just think it fits and makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely feel like you need a pitcher. That's that's what I'm hearing. Those are the reports I'm hearing
Yes,
out of
multiple,
New York.
all of them actually. Give me all of them.
So the Red Sox have it's not a problem, but they have to pick a path, in my opinion. They have to pick a way. I don't think they can do both. They either have to commit to being elite defensively or offensively. Even last year, I know they were one of the better offenses in baseball, and they were just not a good baseball team last year. There's a way to become elite defensively. There's a way to stay elite and even improve there offensively. I would love to sit here and say go sign Rhys Hoskins and Matt Chapman. You can't. You just unless you plan on trading Devers, that's just not a thing you can do. However, if you were to
I
pick
mean, technically, you could.
trade Cassis,
Wait, who? This is probably going to sound. Oh, yeah, sorry. Trevor Story exists. I was about to ask who's the Red Sox shortstop.
oh,
Sorry, that
listen, if
was
you want to
a
put
lot of pressure.
Chapman at short and move Story to second, or put Chapman at second,
Yeah, like I think that's a thing you can feasibly do. Now you're probably not going to pay the money to Matt Chapman to move him off the position that he's won like 10 Gold Gloves at. So yeah, you're probably not going to be hey yeah let's play you at short. I think he could do it, but you're probably not going to do that.
well, it's just like he's on the other side of 30, so it's like how long could he
Yep.
realistically do that? And then you're
Right.
pissing off Story too. So it's like what's the risk reward there? If
Yeah.
he wants to play second, which I think he's perfectly capable of doing, I just think it's a little pricier than they're trying to spend at second base.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be sick. I just don't know that anyone's even thinking that way. That'd be an awesome way to think, but realistically, it's like you you won't sign Hoskins and Chapman is where I come in. So if you have to pick one of those two. If you pick Hoskins, I mean you don't pick either of them. If you pick one of those two and you pick Hoskins, well now you have your righty that can play first sometimes if you want to give Cassis a blow, and he's going to DH majority of the time. Your defense is going to probably be shit no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or Craig Breslow didn't sign that fucking contract. You look at the Red Sox nation and you go, listen, zero of those dollars, zero of the dollars we paid Rafael Devers were because of his glove. Not a single dollar in that contract was accounted for because of his glove. He is our DH now. Matt Chapman plays third. We now have arguably the best defensive left side of the infield in baseball between Story and Matt Chapman. I don't think that's the worst idea. I really don't.
Can Devers handle the DH role every day?
I think he could,
I mean, there's no reason to believe that he can't, but you don't know until you do it.
for sure.
So, because it is a lonely job, like a lonely job.
It definitely can be. And that would be him and Cora have such a good relationship. I think he could do it, and I think he would be able to do it with Cora. But it's a question mark for sure. And there's a reason I put Chapman 5 instead of 2, like where I had Hoskins. The money, in my mind, should be similar if Hoskins really gets a 1 year deal. I don't even know why teams, like, I get why. If you're a contending team, I get why you would do that. If you're a team trying to rebuild, there's no reason to, like, why the Cubs gave Bellinger a 1 year prove it deal. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean the thing is with teams like the Cubs, like when you expand the playoffs to seven per conference
Sure.
or per league, like this is kind of what you get. You get teams like the Cubs signing Cody Bellinger to 1 year deals because this stuff wasn't happening when it was four playoff teams. Like
No,
if you were the 16th best team in the league, people were not signing 1 year prove it deals on those teams. They just weren't.
no. Chapman, for me, would be unbelievable. He's 30. Him and Story on that left side of the infield is incredible. You don't lose Devers' bat. That's still in the lineup. Chapman's bat, inconsistent, always has been, but it's righty pop, which the lineup needs regardless. It's not as good as Hoskins' bat, but it's much better glove, so it's a better player in my estimation.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not worried about Devers' like feelings. I don't think he would take it. I know he takes a lot of pride in trying to get better at defense. That's great. he he can DH.
Fuck his feelings, he said.
And not even that.
Totally makes sense. Fuck his feelings.
It's
Nah.
just more like you got paid. How hurt are you going to be by that? You know what I mean? Like how the most beloved player this century for the Red Sox is the DH. It's David Ortiz by a lot. It's like
Yeah.
you will still be beloved. You've
And
already got the ring.
did he not move off of first?
Ortiz.
Yeah.
I mean, he was moving wherever was going to give him a job. He wasn't too concerned.
Yeah, he moved off first. He played it first. He played first in Minnesota. So yeah, it's
He did.
just sometimes it's like that, man. Like they're paying you to hit. Nobody has ever paid Rafael Devers to field in his life.
No,
Nobody, not a soul. Nobody. It is what it is, man. If you got to move off, you got to move off. Like I don't think they're gonna do it, but
I don't think so
it
either.
would make a ton of fucking sense
They
because especially like, again, like you're talking about a power hitting right handed bat. Like Fenway would probably add some juice to his stats a little bit. So you're getting that, and you're getting an elite defender. I would love to suggest Matt Chapman for the Yankees, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. Like yet another above average bat, average to above average bat with great defensive skills. Like we've called that play before. The last couple of years, we've called that play several times. It hasn't fucking worked. Like I'd prefer you just get people we know can hit. I know there aren't that many of them, but I prefer you try.
I would take you put Chat again. If you have Chapman and Story hitting like 5-6, 6-7, now you've got quite a deep lineup. You still got Casas. You still have Yoshida, and this is where it's like still talking about second base. If you want to be flexible, and I understand trades will be made too. We'll talk about trades either as they happen. We'll try and predict some shit. Cedar Rafael is such an interesting piece for the Red Sox because he could be your starting shortstop, your starting second baseman, your starting center or right fielder. You could really play him in any position other than catcher, and I'm sure he could figure that out if you really wanted him to.
He has such a fun glove, such a fun defensive player.
His
So
glove's
fun.
insane. His bat's not even terrible. He just likes to swing, which I
Yeah,
love. I understand why the team doesn't. I love it.
yeah. He is. He hasn't met a pitch he wouldn't swing at.
Right. But he's either going to be traded or you can make a commitment to be like, hey, we know we're going to go sign pitching. That's why I haven't even spent a lot of time talking about it. We know we're going to go sign pitching. Why not beef up this defense to make the pitching even better? If you've got Chapman and Story there, good fucking luck. Montgomery's going to be out there like, go ahead, hit it to that side of the field. We've got it covered. It's, it's all good over there. You know what I mean? You want Casas' defense to improve? Make sure no balls are ever getting skipped to him again. You got Chapman and Story. You're good. You've got Devers still in the lineup. All of it makes a lot of sense to me.
The last one I have for the Yankees, similar to Chapman in a way, like not quite. And this is kind of one of those like I'm not necessarily in love with the signing person. I'm not in love with the player, but Kevin Kiermaier. Listen, we know the deal. Elite glovesman, elite, plus glove. Um, average-ish, below average bat. You know, he hits well in Yankee Stadium for whatever that's worth. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing to me because he's gonna come here and then hit 100 here. So that does him doing it for the enemy. It doesn't mean shit to me. So whatever. But he has a good history hitting here. Um, again, elite glove, left-handed, some pop, like not no pop, some pop. Like all right, like you know, you don't have to commit long bucks to him. Like you give him a one. He got a 1 year $9 million deal last year. He might have played himself with like a 2 3 year deal because he was pretty good last year. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I still think he's probably gonna end up signing for like 1 for 11 or something like that. It's a cheap everyday center fielder. You need those. You need outfielders. You said them. The GM said it. Like you need, and he hits left handed because that's so fucking important. But yeah, just like I think it's a good signing as long as you're not signing him long term. And the hitting market just isn't great. The free agent hitting market just isn't great. So if you're not gonna sign the Lee Jung Hoos and all that, like all right, Kevin Kiermaier is right there. 1 year, give him 10 or $11 million. I call it a day.
My ideal lineup has Bellinger playing center, playing preferably right. Like I do think to keep him healthy, right would probably be. And I know he's been center first baseman. I'd put him in right.
He's
I
played
would,
right before, so
he's
I
had to
think
have, but I
yeah,
like
he's played right. Yeah, he's good.
I'd put him in right, and I would keep like the Duran Rafaela combo in center. I'd give it to Rafaela. I would have Duran around. Obviously, speed's become important again in baseball, but that's my
I
out.
mean, you have Rafael and Bellinger. You have top tier outfield defense. It doesn't even matter who's in left.
Right. And that like if you do that and then you get Chapman, now your defense is elite everywhere. Like it doesn't matter
Yes, it
who's playing
is.
second. It just doesn't. And again, if you want to put him at second, you've got your middle covered. I don't your corners are questionable, but you've got your middle covered.
And then you can hit Trevor Story third, and
You wouldn't have to. You got
the Red
Bellinger.
Sox are cooking.
The
You hit
lineup's so
Bellinger
deep.
first, man.
I don't know. I think they may lead Casas off. They had talked about it last year. I don't think they wanted to do it as a rookie. That would be tough.
That
But he's
that
got
that's
the eye
that's my
for it.
kind of jam. That the slow power hitting on base guy getting first. Sign me up. Sign me up. So, well, I mean, in this case, not so much because Tristan Cassis murders the Yankees, but whatever. Besides that fact, I respect and appreciate the idea.
Yeah, he's got a great eye for it.
It's annoying, but he
And
does.
I can't imagine being a pitcher warming up, being like, I got to deal with this. I can't even ease into this game. I got to deal with this fucking guy. Yeah, so toss three lefties at him. Here's here's four, I guess. Here's Casas. Here's Yoshida. Here's Devers. Here's Bellinger. Good luck. Good luck, righties.
If he goes to the Red Sox, I need him to turn into 2021 Bellinger without the injury. Hopefully,
Like
he's
21, he
just
was for 22 was when he really fucking stunk.
well 22, whichever one was worse. Yeah, I need him to be that for if he signs in Boston.
But yeah, I could see Bellinger being like JD Drew in a sense where, like, you talk about Tim Anderson's personality not meshing. I think it's more the Bellinger. type that doesn't mesh in Boston. Obviously, I understand the racism part of it, but um,
I
like
was delivered so casually, but yeah,
well, I mean, it's part of it. It's for sure part of
it
it.
is for sure.
But like the brash guy when he backs it up in Boston is absolutely beloved. The quiet guy who says nothing like JD Drew, people don't go for that shit here. Like I've never understood it, but people don't fuck with it at all.
I don't understand. I don't understand how somebody not talking can irritate people. That has never really made a lot of sense to me, especially with like JD Drew. Wasn't bad. It's not like he
No.
was running out there being ass. He was good for the Red Sox, and he wasn't talking. I would think that's the perfect combo to be. No, like he's good at baseball, and I don't have to hear shit about his opinions on anything. I would think that's great. I would sign up for that shit.
It was
I've had about
more
enough of fucking Aaron Judge talking for this lifetime or the next.
every time he talks is hysterical. But yeah, Drew, it was still when average mattered. He was like a 270 guy. No one cared that he had like a 900 OPS or whatever, like 880, whatever it was.
Like somehow nobody cared. Yeah.
He was replacing simultaneously in a lot of people's minds both Johnny Damon and Trot Nixon. Trot Nixon like would walk out there for the national anthem with a dirty jersey, like he just lived in the dirt. And Johnny Damon was had like hair down to his ass and was like this crazy leadoff guy. And I'm pretty sure his money and what the Yankees gave Damon was pretty the same. So people were like, why wouldn't you just give it to Johnny Damon? Undeniably a better idea to give it to JD Drew at the time. And even though Damon was still had good years with the Yankees, JD was better over that 4 year stretch.
Sure was.
But he never had to dive for a ball because he just would catch it. He would just take the correct route and be under it and catch it. And that was that. Trot Nixon would be like a routine pop fly. And he was like sliding under it to make the catch. And so in Boston, it was just like, this guy's not trying hard. This JD Drew guy, he doesn't really care about winning. So that's where it's like being a loudmouth and bragging. Boston has no problem with that. Being like apathetic. People want to know you. When Adrian Gonzalez blamed God for losing, it's like, all right, dude, like you can get the fuck out. You can fucking kick rocks. We don't.
At least somebody blamed the negative on God for once. Damn it. At least somebody did. I appreciate Adrian Gonzalez for doing that shit. At least somebody did it for once. It's always the positive. Where's the
Like,
negativity?
he looked right in the camera. He said, God didn't want us in the playoffs. People were like, did he really just say that? All right, dude. See you later. See you literally never again. But yeah, I hope Manfred's watching. I hope he institutes an official start to free agency. I need that. A signing could come at any time, literally any time.
Oh, with the history of this show, signing's happening tomorrow somehow.
I'm fine with. It's probably gonna be fucking Whit Merrifield.
Yes.
Who again? I'm fine with. There's just nothing to be excited about there. Nothing.
This is like you post a side by side, like your reaction pre Whit Merrifield, your reaction
Yeah.
post Whit Merrifield. It's just the same fucking face. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like, I was just as happy or upset, depending on your perspective, as I was 5 minutes before deciding. Like, I feel nothing. It doesn't move me in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's just plenty of second baseman. I don't. He's fine, completely fine. Um, but we'll be back next week. Maybe sooner for a short if something big happens. Neither of us put Shohei on our list. Who do you think he's if he were to sign? We'll end on this. If he were to sign with one of the two teams, who do you think is more likely as of today?
Boston, 100%.
You don't think the Yankees are in at all?
In like for real in or in like we're gonna call him in like no I don't think there's not a world where he signs I don't think because it kind of is a clunky fit given the rest of the roster but obviously like you wipe so just money wise it's hard to move the fucking money around is basically what I'm saying like fuck the roster fit you know what I mean
Sure. Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
like you can't you get Shohei Ohtani what the fuck are you doing with Stan like for example like it's like I don't care. You don't care. Anybody with sense is like, hey man, Giancarlo, hey man, you had a nice run, bro. See ya. But it's not that easy. You can't do that when you have $120 million left to pay him. But no, I don't. The chance of them signing him are low until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I just assume he'll go to the Dodgers. I still think the Angels are higher than people think. Um, and yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up. They're up, but I'm not getting them up. Um, I do think if Manfred has even an ounce of David Stern in him, he's pushing for Shohei and Soto to end up on each of these teams, like one of each.
That'd be great. If you had asked me this question before the Tommy John, it would have been Shohei being a preference by a mile.
Sure,
Now,
I could see that.
now, I'll take either one. I'm fine with either one. Like I get it if you pick Soto instead. Like I get it. I'd welcome him with open arms and I'd show him around the Washington Heights, man. We can have a great time, Juan.
You know, so Shohei Washington Heights, you don't think that'll seal the deal for him?
I'm not sure what Shohei is into. I'd have to ask around on that one. Maybe it would. Maybe it would cinch it. But who knows? But I have
When
to
we
ask around.
when we talked about Kikuchi, people were saying Shohei's on big sleepy time hours too. He's he's getting his 14 a night as well, which
Okay,
makes
so see
sense.
that wouldn't work because I'm not taking it to the Heights at 3 p.m. Like I'm not doing it. Not doing it. So that wouldn't work.
But we'll see people as news unfolds. It's fucking time. It's the off season, so I'm very excited. It's a dawn of a new day. The Red Sox of last year, it'll be different whether it's better or worse. It'll at least be different, and that's enough for me to be excited. But until that point, I'm Coley Mick.
I'm Kevin Lewis.
See you guys later.